All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is actually 6 o'clock now. Welcome any and all visitors, and welcome any public comments one would like to make that are unrelated to our agenda items this evening. Cliff, why am I shocked that that would be the case with you? I am very confused. Go ahead.
Cliff, you need to come to a mic, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Cliff Duncan. Just here to ask a request of the board. I'd like to request that the board invite both our senators from Bennington and our member of the House to come and talk about a couple of movements afoot to create a greater level of taxation policy on a county level in the state. Mark Williams was quoted in the Valley News back in September about his desire to move away from his current policy of contracting with towns, unlike Wilmington, that don't have their own police force, for the purpose of funding rural policing, which is all great and good, and I'm all for the better coverage. But in this article, it talks about how his plan would assess all towns to fund policing on the county level, in this case, Windham County Sheriff's Department. So what that would mean is Wilmington, who has a police force, and Dover, who has a police force, and Brownville and Bennington would contribute toward this funding. He does go on to say that for the time being, at least in the beginning, those towns that already pay for their own police force would receive some kind of a refund for those taxes contributed, because he's trying to, I believe, put out the fire here before it gets too high that those towns that are already paying for a police force might object to subsidizing another town's police force in addition to what we're paying ourselves. And ours is a pretty significant budget for policing, which we have a great department here. But I think when I also go on, it reads where Jeanette White, former senator, makes a comment that it would just take a little tweaking of a Vermont law to allow the actual funding on a county level of police force work like this requested from the Windham County Sheriff's Department. Scares the hell out of me. And it scares me because the camel's nose is under the tent. Not only in this instance, but Windham Regional has approached this on a similar level as well. They've already been talking about moving away from local issues and local planning, like Windham Regional has done for a very long time, from a local level to a county level, which would mean that those things would be disconnected. And the funding for that, because it would be a much bigger bureaucracy, would have to come from somewhere. And I theorize it would probably come from the same mechanism that they would begin to do this with the police force. So I don't know if there's anybody else in this room that feels we pay enough in taxes, but if there's somebody that thinks we have to pay more in taxes, I'd be surprised who that might be. But this could be a serious thing. So let's get the senators here and let's make it abundantly clear, assuming the board is on the same page as I am with this, and we tell them in no uncertain terms that they should support anything, as in Jeanette called a little tweaking to Vermont law to allow the county to begin to assess and tax residents of Vermont on a county level, in addition to a state level, a local level, a school level, and so on. So would the board entertain that idea of having them come in before they go into session?
We can try. You know, they were here about 4 weeks ago. Okay, both Hunt Barngarts and the other gentleman.
Was that talked about, Tom?
No, it wasn't brought up. I'll be honest with you, Cliff. We haven't given it any credence. We have our own, and we would fight. We would fight not to be involved in this.
We would fight to be.
We would not partake with the Windham County Sheriff's Department, and that's kind of just expanding one's realm here at this point. And we're not interested in doing it.
Right, but what I see, Tom, is this is how things have gotten started many times before. When they say they'll give us our money back, that will only be a short period of time before they will say, well, communities like Jacksonville and Waynham and Reedsboro, they can't afford what it's going to cost on a county level to fund them. So therefore, Windham Regional and the Windham County Sheriff's Department needs to assess all towns in the greater common good of everybody, raise all boats by everybody contributing. That's exactly where this is going. And anybody thinks that it's probably not, I think is misguided.
You know that we patrol Whitingham, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a lot of towns that would benefit by this.
Well, you know,
That are
maybe-
now
maybe
on-
so.
There's really no improvement in the funding mechanism beyond what he's currently doing. He just doesn't want to go to contracts anymore. He'd rather have just an assessment, and everyone, they call it more efficient because everybody gets taxed and he doesn't have to worry about that step. And I think that's flat out
Well, I
wrong.
think I'm still waiting for the $118 million back from Act 60. Okay?
Well, you and I are probably going to be
Actually,
dead and gone before that comes to pass. So
Well-
again, I'd like to ask the board to consider and deliberate about having our senators come in and talk about this very subject of leveling any taxation beyond what we already do on a county level in the state of Vermont, and make sure they're not in support of that.
All right.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well received. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, Scott, let's move on.
Changes, possible changes. We'd like to set a budget meeting, a date, and it's on number 7. And we have a recommendation for you. And then we're going to change number 5. We're going to move it ahead of number 4.
Right. Right. So we will go still approve the annual road request for the stump jumpers.
You need to approve minutes first.
Okay, we can do that. Backwards.
So keep in mind that the October 30th has to be done separately because Vince and Tony were not here.
All right, and November 4th is okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the November 4th minutes.
Second.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I'll make a motion, we approve the November 4th.
November 4th, okay, 2025. Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, let's go. I'll go with the ones with October 30th. There's 3 of us. It's John, Charlie, and myself. I move that we approve the minutes of October 30th, 2025. All right.
Second.
All right, second by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we have 2 that are not involved. Very good. That's passed. All right, Scott?
Under action items, we'll invite Linda McCarthy for the select board to possibly approve the annual road request from the Deerfield Valley Stump Jumpers. Yes, please.
We haven't had any change from last year. have we?
No,
Okay. And no complaints? Nobody's upset? There's always usually somebody that's got to be upset.
not yet.
Didn't happen.
Only in Dover they're complaining.
Only in Dover, well, we are not building bridges without a permit, I don't think, right?
Absolutely, and
Okay.
as the new secretary, I'm in charge of informing everybody of everything, so.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Anybody have any questions for the stump jumpers? If not, would somebody make a motion to approve? I'm sorry.
I noticed on here, there's a lot of, like, Lyle Hill, John Zach's driveway, isn't on that property anymore. Jim Knapp's.
Jim Knapp?
driveway.
Isn't Jim still in the house?
No,
He
no,
doesn't?
but we have the,
Tom, we can't hear anything that they're saying.
Heidi, you have to come up to the mic. please.
no, I was just asking because there's, clerical errors here on roads, property owners that they've mentioned that are no longer owners of those houses.
One of the things I'm doing is updating the list and trying to get in contact with everybody so that we have current owners, emails, phone numbers.
You have Jim Naves in there, that's on the list. Who else was on there, Heidi? John Zach.
I'm not gonna be able to hear.
On Lyle Hill Road.
On Lyle Hill Road.
Yeah, I think you have that one too. I think a lot of them will have been updated, I think, but we're looking at the letter from last year. We just sent a copy of last year.
Yes,
Book Road, there's no access over road to North Road, that's not, there's no fast access there. What is it? On Book Road.
look through.
looking, I think that they were looking at the trail to try to do that. with the- Are you over there? Have you ever? I am, yeah.
Done.
Against any, I'm just saying that.
It needs to be updated. It definitely needs to be
Hey, we
updated.
got, oh, yeah. First of all, we are trying to record everything. So you're gonna have to come up here and sit and talk into the microphone. So the one on, tell me about Brook Road though, Heidi. It says, from Colebrook Road to Nordic Hills Lodge.
Correct.
Which that's-
There's no vast exit. There's no vast,
There's no accessibility there.
no,
Okay, so, does it go up through the old Wellman Farm that way?
it does not.
That does not. Okay, so where's the nearest part to this? Where's the nearest access? If I was on Colebrook Road right now,
I guess Man Road.
Man Road? Okay, all right. So we can take that off? Would you guys take a look at that?
Yep,
I mean, if they
absolutely.
eliminate it, that's all well and fine too. I think we approved it this way last year also.
So you said Look Road, What
It's on
else?
the- It's on the first.
you
it's
said
on the
there's no
first page.
access at Look Road. What, you said Lyle Hill, what about
Lyle
Lyle
Hill,
Hill?
it just says, it just referenced John Zach's driveway and he doesn't own property there.
But there is a vast trail. that
I'm not
runs
disputing
along.
that. It's just that you have the wrong.
So
Person.
Yeah, so to make that, we can replace owners' names with addresses to simplify that. So owner changes doesn't affect that. That's a simple change that I can look at doing with your permission letter later. And then you can copy and paste it for next year's request.
Just as long as the new person has given permission, I think that's.
Right, right.
what's
One of the
critical.
things the Trail Master is doing is he's putting all the map locations for these land properties.
Right.
So that it's easier to follow and find.
All right.
So Heidi, after Lyle Hill, what was next?
I just questioned Jim Nabb's driveway on Brown Road. I don't think he owns that property anymore either, so
That's a new owner.
just pointing out that. I don't have a problem with it, I was just pointing out.
Thank you for being so picky. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
The trail that's on Lyle Hill is actually an old trail that runs like along the side of the road.
You have to come up to the microphone.
Yep, you have to come up front, please.
Come on, Barbara.
So
No. The microphone, please. Thank you.
So the trail that's on Lyle Hill actually is an old vast trail that hasn't been used in a long time, but it's there. And it goes alongside of Lyle. I think that's all town property. It runs from where Zach's.
Right, I know what you're
across
talking about,
And
yeah.
it goes straight up. So that I think is why that's on there. We haven't really used it, but we've never really taken it off.
Okay, but they still go and groom? They groom there?
I think, no, that
No?
wouldn't be grooming. That would be when the town used to come by, they would wing it back. Kind of runs along the side of the road on Lyle Hill.
Really? And you guys like that? Nobody likes that.
It's just there. It's been there
Okay.
for years.
All right.
Zach put that, actually was the one that created that trail.
Okay,
So it's just always been there.
it was for his access, I imagine, right?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. All right, so we have that obviously on the record here now.
Yeah,
So
and
with
Nave, we do have the new owners for Nave. It is on the new list.
Yeah, I should have brought my list with me.
Yeah.
Cliff?
As an enthusiast, and I did serve for a couple of years as president of the Stump Jumpers, I would like to comment that I think the list of roads, like Look Road as an example, if it doesn't hurt the town to leave it on there, I think logistically it makes sense to save it, because if there does, during the season, all of a sudden open up an opportunity, a private landowner says, hey, I'll let you go across my land, that'll give you access to Look Road. They don't have to come back to the town and spend that time unnecessarily to get your approval for the road to use that they used to have approval for previously. So there's no harm in leaving the roads that, particularly town roads, that are already approved. I wouldn't remove them from the list. I think that's counterproductive
That makes sense.
to the
But
expediency.
let me ask you this. I realize you're on the upper side of, I'm on one side of Man Road, but you're not over to the Look Road side at all? There's no
We're
trail
not,
there.
we're not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, so, I mean.
I do know about the Lyle Hill one. I don't know about the Look Road.
Okay, all right,
I think it,
And we'll talk about it with the Trail
all
Master.
right.
I think it makes sense to be sure we update Brown Road and Lyle Hill Road And the police chief did review this and said he was fine with it.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
See, if the chief of police is okay, we're okay. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's all the same from last year, but we will get better clarity.
Okay, thank you.
On the
Thank you.
road.
Well, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's
Great.
right. And see,
Okay.
next year, we will not invite Heidi. Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the stump jumpers proposal?
I move to approve the annual road request from the Deerfield Valley Stump Jumpers as laid out.
Okay.
With adjustments on Brown.
Yeah, with the adjustments
And
as
Lyle.
noted in the meeting. Okay,
Correct.
all right, all right. All right, we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the request by the stump jumpers for their route this year with adjustments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Scott?
Bytown Marketing is on your list. The select board will receive an update from Bytown Marketing from Gretchen and Tim. And secondarily, the select board to possibly approve a 1% request from Bytown Marketing, the amount of $114,763.
And folks, just for the record, we made this change because Tim has to go up and go to the Dover Select Board meeting. He's getting the double whammy this evening.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn over to you.
Just go for it.
Go for it. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thanks for having me. So we've got update for what we did this year and then a request for next year's budget so we can continue all the work that we've been doing. So starting off, we've got Google Ads, which has been a really effective platform for us. So we increased that budget a little bit, $2,100 from last year, concentrated most of that during the summer. Foliage, you can see, is still the biggest performer. You know, that 6-week period when people are looking for what's happening with foliage in Vermont accounts for about 23% of our visits just in that 6-week period of the year. And this year we also updated things so that we're now targeting what Google believes will be people that are going to stay on the website for over 30 seconds. So that's been really effective for us. That's the yellow line that you can see we started up in May. And since we'd made that change, about 85% of the people that got onto the website from Google Ads were staying for longer than 30 seconds. So really good performance there. Our digital ad campaign, we did 78% of the budget or so this year into Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. And then we went back to programmatic display. TikTok is what we've been using for the last 2 years, but come springtime when we were trying to make a decision about what ads we needed to create and get into market, there was a lot of controversy around TikTok at the time. There had already been one ban that had been given a 90-day extension. That deadline was coming up. It was starting to get tied into tariff talk with China, and so there was a lot of complications around TikTok. We didn't want to spend the money creating ads that could all of a sudden be pulled out of market. So we went back to programmatic display, which we've known in the past gets in front of a lot of people. It just doesn't perform as well on the click side. So something to keep in mind as we look at the performance. But I had a couple examples of what our summer ads looked like. So there were 3 different phases that ran during the summer. And then we switched into fall in late August and had a bunch of ads going out until about the Columbus Day period, which did coincide pretty closely this year with the end of foliage. And then we also had a couple of videos. There was 3 different ones, again, that ran during the summer. Actually 6 total, 3 for our families, 3 for our young adults, and then 2 during the fall. Again, 1 family, 1 young adult. So overall this year, we got in front of about 25 million people. So 25 million impressions, 22 of those that came from Meta. For clicks, we saw 53,557, which is down from last year. But again, we were anticipating that, knowing that we were making the change from TikTok, which had a better click-through rate than Pragmatic Display. So that's kind of what dragged that clicks down a little bit, but also what helped improve on the impression side. So overall, really good results, you know, a little bit better than what we saw last year on the impression side. And, you know, we'll be continuing to look at TikTok versus Pragmatic, but that Meta is definitely our bread and butter and where we're spending most of our money. New this year, as we presented to you last year, was the geofence footfall tracking. So this was a way for us where on the Meta ads, anybody who saw an ad on their phone from Meta and then within 7 days traveled anywhere within the Deerfield Valley, it would track them and count as a 1. A little scary, I know, but kind of cool from us from a marketing standpoint to kind of have now that piece of data that connects what our ads are doing and are those people actually getting here. So in that 1 to 7 day window, we tracked 1,099 people. We used AirDNA data that told us that about 26% of people book an AirDNA within 1 to 7. So, you know, basically thinking about that 1,099 as being 26% of the people that would have visited if we had a larger window to track them in. So overall, that's blocked on mine, 4,220 people that saw an ad that we believe came into the Valley. And from that data, we just made some calculations using some different metrics. So the median is kind of what we think is the closest. So that's using 3.315 people traveling together, staying 3.5 nights and spending $305 per person per day, which would account for about 14,000 visitors, just under 49,000 room nights, and just under $15 million worth of revenue generated for businesses in the Deerfield Valley. On the low end, you know, if we were off and things were on the lowest side, you know, that's 2.5 people or so traveling together, 3.43 nights, and $253 per person per day, which would be just under 11,000 visitors, 37,000 room nights, and $9 million worth of generated revenue. So kind of nice this year to be able to have that connection now between the advertising and the people that are actually getting here into town. I know that's new. Any questions about that piece?
How are you calculating the 305 and the 253?
I didn't want to get too far in the weeds, but I knew somebody would ask. So I did make an appendix at the end that has where all the data came from. The 305 was kind of I did a bunch of scraping on the internet and as well as utilized ChatGPT. And, you know, for a medium spend visit, so we're not a luxury, but we're not, you know, super cheap, kind of that medium was around the $305 mark. The 253 per person per day comes from a survey done by the state. But that is a year-long survey that is heavily impacted by one-day skier visits. So it's brought down by, you know, this people that aren't staying overnight.
So a 4-person family was saying spent $1,200 a day visiting the area?
Theoretically, that's what the calculations are showing.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean,
the ski lift tickets, I can't imagine what else is spending $1,200 on, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, between meals, the gas that they're buying, the, you know, room nights, all of that is calculated in. So, and again, they are just projections. You know, certainly the age of kids, you know, is going to impact it. You know, younger kids, you're going to get in a smaller room, not spend as much. So there's other factors that we can't necessarily calculate, you know, but this was our best guess at kind of what this impact might be.
Okay. And the AirDNA, what does that calculate? Is it only Airbnb or is it other?
Airbnb as well as VRBO. So again, I think the different those numbers are pretty solid. The 3.5 room nights came from that for all of New England. And the 3.43, I think, was more centralized to Southern Vermont.
So not centralized toward Wilmington, Dover, just southern Vermont in general.
Just Southern Vermont, which is like, according to Air DNA, like Killington down and only the eastern part of the state.
So does the $1,200 also include Killington?
No, that wasn't taken from Air DNA. That was taken from just a generalized calculations that we made.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Well, on this in general or just that piece?
Just that piece.
Okay.
We still got more.
Because we still got more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So our other notable projects, we did a big fall photo shoot this year. So I spent a 14-hour day, went up to Mount Snow, Hoot Toot and Whistle, as well as the lake, and White House Inn, and got some great photography so that we have a bunch of assets to use for the next few years, as long as the budget is approved, so that we can, continue running great ads for the fall. Also had an influencer come and visit. She has, about 90,000 followers on Instagram. So she came for 2 days and did a few posts on Instagram for us, which got about 85,000 views and really good engagement rate. So she went all throughout the valley, got her out on the lake for a boat ride over to Hogback, and then did some shopping in downtown Wilmington and Dover as well. Our organic social has really been getting stronger as we go along. We've increased our followers by about 18% so far this year. So that's way up. And, we continue to break records. We had a great intern over the summer and now have a new content coordinator who's been doing a great job. And so we continue to go up and up. We just did a couple of posts, one on Mountain Mills and kind of a then and now of the old railroad running across the lake versus what it looks like now. And that one got over 70,000 views, which was double what our previous record was before. So really strong social media presence that we're gaining on. We also did an email sign up contest. So anybody that got on the website, give us their email so we can talk to them later. So we got about 450 new subscribers out of that. And then really exciting, the GROW program, which is focused on trying to get people to relocate here, as well as retaining the folks that we do have working here. This is a state program that you might remember. We got $38,000 to spend for fiscal year 24 and 25. So that first grant is wrapping up. We have some ads out right now that'll end in a few weeks. And we did our last mixer last night. It's also helped pay for 50% of that content creator doing all the social media posts that we just talked about. So that's been really successful. And in September, over the summer, we reapplied and we found out in September that we were given another grant for the next 2 years. So we'll be able to continue that work. And actually, we're able to get more money. We've got about $13,000 more than what we had for 24, 25. So really exciting that we were able to, get some free money from the state to help try to continue getting people to relocate here. That's what we did. Any questions about any of that?
So the program to get people to move here?
Yep.
What exactly are we doing?
So we have advertising that runs right now. We've got different campaigns for young adults, which is like a 25 to 35-year-old category, as well as a family category, running separate ads. And those are in Boston, Hartford, New York City. And then we expanded this time out into Virginia, Dallas, and Colorado, where we were seeing good data from people wanting to relocate to move here. So they're all seeing ads about how great it is to live here and live through the 4 seasons of Vermont. On the retention side, we're doing a bunch of mixers. So in conjunction with the chamber, we had people come like last night to American Flatbread and had almost 70 people come over there, mix and mingle with, about 25% of those people being people that just moved here within the last year or so. So trying to get them integrated into the community, meet new people, and want to be a part of, the Deerfield Valley. And then the content creator is, the social media person. So that's kind of where all that money is getting spent.
So where, you're saying the ads are, let's say, New York City, where are the ads? Where are the ads? How does
those are all being shown on Meta, so Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, so they just pop up if somebody says Vermont?
Yeah, they don't even have to say Vermont. It's typically, looking for people that are searching for new jobs, looking for new housing, have Vermont interests, or have outdoor recreational interests.
Instagram does have quite a few.
What's that?
Instagram has quite a few of the ads that I've seen.
Yeah.
Mount Snow also is part of that. They're pushing it too.
I'm not on most of that, so I don't see these ads. So I guess so. So, and the mixes, how do people get invited to these mixes? I haven't even heard of this before.
Well, we do advertising through the Deerfield Valley News.
Okay.
Again, Instagram and Facebook ads that ran for about the last 3 weeks going into it, as well as listings on the chamber website. We also reached out to a few of our larger businesses like Mount Snow, and they shared the word with a bunch of their employees, putting up signs on time clocks and that type of thing.
So do we know how many responses we've gotten for these ads?
How many what?
Responses or positive results from these ads?
We don't really know. We know that at least a few of those people that attended last night said that they had been impacted by ads. BDCC, we're working with them as well. They've got a bigger chunk of the grant money. Anything that goes through the state's website gets funneled to them. So they have a little bit better data on what the conversion rate might be. But, for us, it's more about just getting people to think about it and trying to get them here.
Okay, I know because on the visit one, we can track people who actually show up, but apparently we are not able to track that, but.
No, we didn't on that.
Okay.
And those are also advertised in the newsletters from, Wilmington Works to the chamber to the town.
Right.
So.
Good point.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we have done. So what we are proposing and would like to do for next year, starting with staffing, biggest change is increasing the marketing director budget. It would be at the same rate as what was paid this year, but increasing the workload to be able to accomplish more of the projects that we want to do. So an increase there and increasing that workload by 25%. Travel, put in a little bit extra for that content creator because they are going out, taking photos, video of everywhere in the valley. So just want to be able to give a little stipend to help with gas money there. And then that content creator position, again, where the $3,262 would represent 25% of the pay, 25% coming from the chamber, and 50% is already committed from the GROW program. Professional fees, we would be, 3% cost of living increase per our contract with Trampoline Design for creating the ads that go out into the market. We also want to test this year a retiree audience. So, the 3% increase would be to do the families and young adults that we've been doing previously. But we do want to test out a retiree segment and see what kind of traction we might get from that. Also, it's been about 4 years now since the website was redeveloped. So the bones of it are good, but we do want to kind of put a refresh, new coat of paint, if you will, on the website and make sure that that's looking as good and enticing as possible as we're driving a lot of traffic to it. No photo shoot next year, so that bucket goes way down. And then, as you'll see at the end, there's a very similar budget overall. So because of that, we didn't change the chamber admin piece. Their workload should stay about the same for Bytown. Digital advertising, adding a little bit into media buy, again, so that we can run those retiree audience and get, some data come back from that and see if that's a direction we want to go further in the future. Influencers, again, had a really good visit in the fall, so want to expand that program and get people with a larger reach. It's a great way to get in front of people, but also from a voice that they trust. People are really willing to or likely to convert when they hear from somebody that they trust online. Groups and weddings, something that we're looking into what the best way to advertise that would be. But want to spend some money there to help some of our inns and locations try to get some more group and wedding business. And then SEO, which is Google Ads, just increasing that budget about the same as what we increased last year. IT, big pieces. Geofencing, that data was great to get, but it came at a cost. We had budgeted for 12.5 and we actually had to reallocate a little bit of money from other projects in order to finish. We ended up just over $15,000 that it cost us to get that tracking information. So while it's great, it does cost a lot. So that's something we're recommending that we do every 3 years, just to kind of make sure that we're staying on track and we are still reaching people, but not spending that money necessarily every year. Ban Wango is something we had talked about implementing for 2025, but ultimately we voted, not to do that. So that goes away. And then just a slight increase in a couple of our subscriptions. Last promotional materials, Guilford Welcome Center. We were able to find really good printing pricing this year and save a ton of money on what it costs us to print our trifolds. So that bucket goes way down, but we also do want to expand from Guilford, keep Guilford, but go to Bennington as well and try to get the western part of the state as people are coming in. And then also one of the biggest things that we're finding people that are searching for on Google Ads, as well as one of the things that people ask about the most in the visitor center is about hiking. So we want to create a digital as well as a printed hiking guide where there's kind of a one-stop piece that people can look at and pick out the best hike for them and their group. So overall, our budget would be $245,776. Up just a little bit from last year's $243,277. We would have a carryover of $16,250. So the budget that we would need in order to accomplish all of these goals would be $229,526. Divided by 2 would be $114,763 from each town. I know that was a ton. I went through it really quickly. Does anybody have any questions?
Folks, questions? No? All right. I have a question. And this is more of a Tom. Is this 1% money or is this our tax dollars?
This is 1%.
Thank you.
Would somebody like to make a motion? Well, you know what? Let me make the motion. Rather than arguing and saying no and going to hell, whatever it may be, I will take it from here and I will say, I move that we approve the 1% request from Bytown Marketing in the amount of $114,763.
Second.
All right. We have motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Charlie,
I have to abstain because I'm on the committee.
Okay, all right, thank you, thank you. I expected that. Okay.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, everybody.
That was a Christmas miracle, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Wonders never cease.
I know, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Off it over.
Next, under social services, Wyndham County Safe Place. I believe I'm looking for Samantha. There's an overview and a request for an increase in allocation.
Yes.
I brought these for you guys and I shared this with Jess so she can share it with anybody that wants it online. I just made this the other day, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also those guys.
There you go.
I think we met a couple years ago. And for those of you that don't recall, which I don't expect you to, you guys do a lot. Safe Place is the only child advocacy center that serves all of Wyndham County. And typically we see like 5 to 10 kids from Wilmington that have experienced and reported sexual abuse and or other types of serious victimization, whether it's violence, witnessing violence, human trafficking, et cetera. I don't want to throw any shade on our Wilmington kids, but I will say the cases that we get from Wilmington are quite complex. And kids are in need of a lot of services. And because we're the only child advocacy center, we coordinate all of that for them. So we've asked for an increase this year. We had historically asked for $1,000 and we're asking for $2,400. And the increase is something that we are posing to all of the towns that we work with. It's not just you guys. And the reason for that is that we added an entire service line directly in our office, which is therapeutic services, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, so that all the kids and adults that we serve, whether they're from Wilmington or somewhere else, can have that automatic connection to a therapist. Like there's not a long wait like there is for everywhere else. And it's that specialized lens of therapy. So it's not just, and I don't want to bash any other types, but this type of therapy is supposed to help people resume normal functioning to the best of their ability after experiencing serious trauma. So the type of therapy is really, really important. We continue to be nationally accredited, which means that we follow the highest scruples and standards for our Child Advocacy Center. And we continue to provide all of the other services that we've talked to you guys about previously, in addition to adding that therapy aspect. And we added one for adults too. So we have service for our kids and service for any adults that would come over. Do you guys have questions
How's
about?
your staffing?
What's that?
How's your staffing?
It's good. I mean, there's only 2 of us as always, which is.
Well, I said there may be a third one coming.
Yeah, no, yeah. Fourth and final little prince for the Prince household. But at Safe Place, there's only 2 of us, which is very common. There's 13 child advocacy centers in Vermont, and we all only have 1 or 2 staff.
Okay.
So Maury, there she is. Maury is our victim advocate. So she provides like all the connection and coordination services and like that really strong, like emotional support for people when they're going through it. And I provide the forensic interviews for folks, meaning that like I present questions to them in a very non-leading, like zero pressure type of way so they can tell us about their experience. So even though her and I are executive director and assistant director, we have those dual roles because we have to. So staffing is good.
Okay.
Do you have members from state police working within the center or not?
No, so we are not. So Cousy, I don't know if you're familiar with Cousy. That's the Chittenden unit for special investigations.
Yep.
Cousy was the first CAC established in Vermont back in the 90s, which Vermont's usually way behind the ball, but we were killing it. So Cousy is everybody's embedded. They have their DCF person and they have different divisions of law enforcement right in their office. We are not that lucky, but we do contract with Dover. Detective Sergeant Morris is here, who's a sweet angel. I love her so much. And we contract with Dover because Wilmington right now doesn't have anybody in their detective slot. You guys might remember Sasha was in that position. And since she's been gone, it hasn't been filled. And so while the chief is working to, work on that and among other things, Becky helps out with Wilmington cases so that that specialized lens doesn't get dropped. So we don't have anybody embedded, but we have really strong relationships with all the PDs that we do work with. Great
How
question.
about the court system? Anything, any relationship with the courts?
Yeah. So great question. So in the what section, you can see who we coordinate with, and it's everybody. So we have coordination with Grace Cottage for specialized medical exams, Brattleboro Memorial, and Dartmouth. We have a relationship with the Wyndham County State's Attorney's Office for prosecutors to get specialized training and for their victim advocates there, because more is victim advocacy services at Safe Place, but it's a whole different ballgame if people get the court process. So we have a relationship with them too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, good questions.
So you're a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
501c3. So
Yeah.
where does most of your funding come from?
Yeah, cool. Grants. Grants, yes. And so we're trying to expand what our town appropriations asks because we need more reliable footing than you guys know the grant world is in upheaval. And in addition to that, Safe Place along with 4 other CACs this year experienced a $20,000 budget cut from our state grant, which is our biggest grant that we typically receive. And so while we added a service that costs around $20,000, we simultaneously lost $20,000. We found ourselves in a $40,000 deficit. And I mean, this $1,400 increase from Wilmington isn't going to touch that. But it will help, and we've asked a bunch of the other towns as well. I mean, because this baby's coming any day, I can't go do the voter sign up sheets, but next year we'll do that. So we'll get the folks that we haven't this year. Good question.
All right. Any more questions? Thank you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
And next we have Deerfield Valley Rescue, Heidi Taylor. And her crew. by the looks of it.
Yes. Anybody else want to join me? I'll introduce Dennis Pike is our new president. He got elected in November. Amanda is our treasurer. Meryl Lundell is on the trustee, and Con is our vice president. So we requested a $10,000 increase in our appropriation.
Okay, this isn't an additional 40,000. I guess maybe I read it wrong.
Yeah, no, it's not an additional 40. No, it's an additional $10,000 to $40,000.
You just put my mind at rest, okay?
He'd like to give us the other 40.
He's sucking on nitro pills.
Well, that's exactly what I was doing.
And hoping the pen's hold up.
Unfortunately, I mean.
We know things are going tough. We know.
Yeah. I mean, there's
so
no good news.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Now that the medical facility has been closed by Bennington, what are you going to do? What's the preferred direction you're going to go at this time? Brattleboro, Bennington, or?
Well, I mean, we typically have done a little over 100 calls up at Mount Snow during the winter season. And of course, the doctor's office filtered a lot of the stuff so that we didn't have to transport.
Right.
But our expectations are to double that amount this year, which is going to be a big burden on a small.
So is it going to be the client's choice as to which direction you go?
Always is. We never
Okay.
dictate which, and we've had conversations with Grace Cottage Hospital also, if they can filter some, minor stuff that wouldn't require surgery or something like that. So
it's a changing world out there. We know that.
it is. I mean, Mount Snow is working very hard to try to do something for next year. Unfortunately, they weren't giving much time this year to come up with a plan. So hopefully there will be something in place next year.
Well, they closed the facility, but they also closed one in Massachusetts. Did anybody have a warning that was coming?
Southwestern Vermont closed. Yeah. They also opened one in Massachusetts.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
I thought they closed one in Williamstown, no?
No, they opened one at North Adams.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I just had to ask.
Or in the process of opening it. I don't know if it's opened yet, but that was their plan.
All right, so is that 10,000? I'm certainly not going to keep you completely above insolvency, but it's going to help, I guess.
It's going to help, yes. The story is that we never came to any of the towns we served until 8 years ago, when we had to leave our current facility and take out a mortgage and all that good stuff. So, and decreasing payments from insurance companies and trying to collect, bills that don't get paid.
Collections are very difficult.
Yes.
They're very difficult.
Are you staffing it? You're not staffing at the mountain though, right?
We're probably going to staff an ambulance, one ambulance up there and leave two for the towns, the rest of the towns that we serve. Just so that we have a plan in place to try to figure that out. So
Now is Vail staffing that as well?
Vail staffs their base first aid.
Okay.
For all the patients come off the hill into base first aid. And I think they're ramping up that portion as well.
Getting thin up there, isn't it?
Any other questions?
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming
And
in.
I'm sorry about the stump jump.
Just be annoying, that's all.
Well, Mr. Zach has been gone for how many
You know,
years?
That's the name from the past, yes, it is. That's it.
Exciting. I believe we have the Vermont Bar, Hannah King, perhaps?
Hey everyone, I am online. My name is Hannah King and I serve as the executive director of the Vermont Bar Foundation. I am also a former member of the Burlington City Council, so I want to start by saying I don't envy you. I know that it can be incredibly difficult to sit in these long meetings and there's plenty of competing demands that come to your desk. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do on behalf of your community. I also want to thank the town of Wilmington for last year's contribution of $600. Your support really matters. And this year we're asking for an increase to $1,000. And I'll just share briefly kind of where that number came from. And then I'd be happy to answer any questions. So in the last year, the Vermont Bar Foundation saw an increase of 300% in funding requests from organizations across the state. We are the sole funder of civil legal services, like the only nonprofit in the state doing it. And so we see and receive many different requests for funding each year. And really those requests come from groups looking to do work around housing stability, domestic violence support, disability rights, family and elder law. And that directly impacts our neighbors' ability to be safe and to really support their basic well-being. The Vermont Bar Foundation helps meet these needs by funding programs that Wilmington residents rely on. We provide funding to a significant amount of funding to Vermont Legal Aid and Vermont Legal Services, which is the statewide legal aid hotline, which folks across Vermont access. And it's really the only place you can call to get immediate free legal support. We also fund programs across Vermont that support eviction and foreclosure prevention services, support for survivors of domestic and sexual violence, benefits and disability rights advocacy, and legal support for low-income seniors and families. And so really every small town in Vermont, we are touching in one way or another. And in this next year, we are intentionally working to even greater expand our resources and capacity in Southern Vermont. There are a bunch of studies going on right now looking at legal deserts. And in Southern Vermont, it's kind of no secret that there are plenty of communities where there are not really a lot of lawyers, and there are especially not folks providing free legal assistance. And so we are actively working on finding ways to fund more hours of free legal assistance and figuring out ways to partner with even smaller nonprofits across the state that are doing really innovative legal work. And that can look like not just lawyers, but also funding community clinics and whatever it may be. And so your investment helps us keep Vermonters safe, housed, and supported, and it ensures that no one has to navigate the civil justice system alone. And so I thank you for considering our request, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? No? Evidently, we don't have any.
Okay, great. Makes it easy for me.
Okay, we will consider it, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
Scott, I'm gonna move that we go into the liquor commission. We have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to go into the liquor commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right.
The Liquor Commission to possibly approve a third-class renewal from Valley Craft Ales LLC and WHVT Hotel LLC doing business as the White House, a second-class renewal from Farmhouse Market, Inc., and a first and third-class application from Downhill Holding LLC at 19 South Main Street.
And these have all been okayed by the chief, I take it.
Yes, they have.
Okay.
I make a motion.
Let's do all three, Tony. Go
Yep.
ahead.
I make a motion of the liquor commission approve a third-class renewal from the Valley Craft Ales LLC and WHVT Hotel LLC DBA The White House. A second-class renewal from Farmhouse Market, Inc. and a first and third-class approval from Downhill Holding LLC at 19 South Main Street.
All right. We'll do a second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the three liquor commission renewals for these three entities. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Scott, other business.
Under other business, we're recommending a budget meeting with the select board on December the 18th at 8:15 a.m. That is a Thursday. I believe
December 18th, at what time?
8:15 a.m. I believe that there will be our annual lunch at noon
Oh, okay.
at the firehouse, same as we did last year.
And lunch will wait for us?
I'm anticipating that we will not have to have lunch wait for us.
No, you have to be done by noon so we can have lunch, Tony.
I know there's an issue coming up somewhere.
Okay, all right.
Is that?
How's that fit in with everybody's schedule?
I am hosting a luncheon in New York on the 18th, so I would not be here.
Really?
Yes. Spanish food.
All right.
I'm going with him. I'm going with him. Spanish.
The hell you are. Come on.
Okay, fine.
And you said 8:30?
8:15.
We're shooting for 8:15.
I'm in favor of it.
I have a conflict that day as well. Is there another day that works for you, John?
What's that?
So Charlie, you're saying no?
Charlie
I'm
also
saying
has
I
a
can make it work.
conflict. So he's wondering
Yeah,
if there's
I have a
another day
conflict.
that week that works.
Thank you, Jessica.
Holy cow. Okay. I'll be there.
Excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hang on. Believe we could do the 19th.
I'm not here the 19th, but if you don't need me, that's
We
fine.
don't need you. Okay, so December 19th. Same time, 8:15?
We could shoot for. the
What
same-
day of the week is that, Scott?
That's a Friday already.
Whoa, huh? All right. How does that look, John? Are you back?
I can be on Zoom for the 19th in the
Okay,
morning, but
okay.
I can't.
All
be
right,
in person.
Charlie?
John can be here in Zoom.
Everybody good?
Yep.
All right.
Select board comments.
John, any comments?
Oh, I do have a question for Gretchen, I think, or anybody. So for the holiday season, what decorations do we or can we do in town?
No, you gotta come up here.
In the past, we've tried to rally and offer discounts at WW Building Supply for lighting. And that has happened a bit. But beyond that, we do not do.
So can the
I
town
mean,
put any
the
lighting up?
beautification committee does do lights on the walking bridge and
Sheila.
right, and then Sheila does the actual bridges.
And she still does the wreaths,
so-
I think, too, does she not?
Yes, and then she puts wreaths on the building. Jessica probably could talk more.
Yeah,
Are you
Jessica
talking about?
Just sort of general decorations in town to make it
Yeah.
look festive. It's holiday season.
Well,
Like,
And I've been meaning to ask
John used to do
Jessica.
it.
right.
If-
I haven't seen them do a lot anymore. So,
Okay.
maybe it's a way to get a hold of Sue down there and take on a new
I mean, it
mission.
seems a little
Yeah.
blah during holiday season. Not
Yeah.
A lot.
And then we are not lit up either, so it's
Right.
kind of hard. I mean, we have these snowflakes that we have done in the
Okay.
past.
We're
and
being
we like
minimalist,
this-
but there's decorations on the building.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we aren't lit up like a casino anymore,
Oh, come on, the casino was not bad.
but we do
The
have
big blue light, if you
decorations
recall.
on our building, on two sides of our building.
All right.
I will say this is Sam Kondracki from Wilmington Works. I have recently been getting a lot of questions from downtown business owners hoping that the town will put some more lights back on the building. Like if it was lining the roof line or something.
Yeah, okay.
So we're gonna make that happen? Is that what
One
I'm
year is
hearing?
too many, and then the next year is not enough, okay, so, I don't know.
Well, we're getting pretty close to the timing, so.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not sure. Jessica has been in charge for this building in the past. So.
Okay.
So when we painted the building, we had to take the lights off, and the lights had started rotting. So sections weren't working anymore, and they weren't repairable because of the type of lights they were. And we had spent over $9,000 on those lights when we put them up, and they just weren't repairable. They were, because of the salt that hits them on the base of the building, they were literally rotting. And we just had chunks that weren't lit up anymore. And it just didn't make sense to try and put them back up. So we went a different route. And if people want to try something different, by all means, you just got to tell me where to go.
Do you have a suggestion, John?
Just general lighting of the downtown. I don't have a specific.
You're talking about the entire downtown.
You're talking not just this
Coordinated.
building,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, not just this
Coordination.
building, yeah. Coming to town, and it's lit up from East Main
Yeah,
to
we've
West Main.
tried to coordinate that, like we offer the discount on,
Yeah.
you know, like the warm lighting, I think it is at WW, so that it's all looks the same throughout the downtown.
Right, but if Wilmington Works
it's
is
really
getting
hard.
questions about it, maybe.
If they want to propose something that includes the entire area that
Yeah.
you're talking about, I mean, mainly the downtown or a certain section, if they want to propose something, I think the time to do it would be between now and spring, so we can order whatever needs to be ordered. And if it coordinates with all the other buildings, I think that makes some sense, or we have to, I mean, Sam is probably the best person to ask, but you know, maybe we have to hire somebody to consult and find what it is that people have ideas about. I don't know.
I think that's a job.
I could tell you it is not my thing.
Well, the chamber really can't do it because.
Sure.
They used to do it all the time.
Yeah, throughout the whole valley, right? But they wouldn't do something Wilmington specific.
Really?
It'd have to be included all towns.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
could that be besides Wilmington Works, could that be a Deerfield Valley endeavor through Bytown?
Yeah.
I'm not representing the chamber, but I would say it's the same conversation that Scott brought up. It's that the chamber, we can talk about it for next year, but that's not something we'd be able to do for this year.
And I think Wilmington Works too. This could be a larger conversation. We have a design committee that has been not very active. And so we're working on getting that back on track. So that could be something that we put on our work plan to consider. And we are running the sale with WW again for all of Wilmington businesses. So that at least those that do use the lights can still use them if they have any that, you know, they need to replace.
Good goal.
Thanks, John, for bringing it up.
Okay, Tony, anything?
Negative, thank you.
Vince?
No.
I don't have anything. Charlie, have anything you want to add?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, Scott, so we'll turn it to you. Look for the manager updates.
Just to bring you up to date on police department hirings, we hired a part-time officer Gonzalez and a full-time officer, Jessica, can you help me? Watakis.
Waitakis, I believe.
Yep, I got it. I have it written here, it just didn't come to me, sorry. We also hired highway heavy equipment operator for the CDL, David Dix from Whitingham. Bridge number 31, please come to December 2nd. We will have Agency of Transportation Scoping Engineer Laura Stone and VHB Jamie Roy, who is the project manager, scheduled to discuss the scoping report for bridge number 31. The scoping report can be found on our website.
So what date's that, 2nd or 4th?
December the 2nd, which is your first meeting of the month. They will be here, they'll be first on your agenda, or close to first. We're still hiring for a full-time police officer, and we have some prospects in the pipeline, I understand. Lake Raponda Dam Maintenance Program. We received state comments back from the last report that MSK returned to them. I talked to Peter Heinen today. He will respond, and then he will get me next steps, which will move us towards an RFP in terms of dam not maintenance, it's upkeep, maintenance, and so on and so forth. One of the things they still have to do for the state is they have to do a little bit more investigating. And we may or may not be able to use highway resources. It's a conversation that we will have to have with Marshall in terms of what MSK Engineering will need for that investigation. Last on my list, I believe, or not last, but close to last, Hoot Toot and Whistle Trail. So I received an update from Jeff Menges and Gretchen. And it goes something like this. Now, they hiked last Friday to explore the mud that Joe Saladino reported, and he's working against the clock right now because of weather. And he's trying to get as much done as he can, I think this week, or it might have been last week. Culverts were going in because next week he'll need to make a switch to his winter operation. The winter's freeze will certainly help us, but last Friday, Gretchen and Jeff, they found themselves in near knee-deep mud on the trail west of the staging area. So this area, they're going to shut off limits due to unstable conditions. The old trail is still usable. They'll put signs in place, but the new trail is only open to the Fairview parking area. Up to the Fairview parking lot path, the trail is fine. And if you haven't been out there, the work is quite impressive. It is just past the old dump area that the mud got what Jeff is calling kind of insane. But we did have a very wet week last week. Now, the second place they'll need signage is where the trail continues west from Fairview, the Fairview entry. And then they recommend putting up some orange barrier fencing. So some of the work will have to be completed in the spring, is my understanding.
So they're going to put up the orange fencing? Is that, and it was recommended?
That's what they're recommending, I think.
Until it freezes.
Yeah.
Once it freezes, we can.
I'm saying we're all putting that up.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We talked about the transfer station and KAS Consulting, Steve Diglio as an engineer. He did visit the transfer station and met with Marshall on November the 5th. This goes back to the what they're calling a NOx that expires on January the 5th. This is a no exposure certification, and he's working on that. We're not sure where we're going to be with that yet, until I get a response back from his walk around and audit of what's going on there. And all I have left for you is,
So are they selling the stickers, the renewal stickers for 26 now? I know.
I would imagine that is going to start, but yes, that's going to start in December. I believe.
December, okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right, hey, folks, we have to go into executive session. I'm gonna have to ask all to leave with the exception of Heidi, Gretchen, sorry, that's a Freudian slip. Okay. At least I didn't say Ralph. Come on.
I can leave.
Hey, Scott,
Yes.
since you have a quorum, I'm gonna sign out for the executive session.
Yeah, good night. Good night, Charlie.
And it's 8 o'clock here. If I don't feed my wife, I'm,
Enjoy your vacation. Thank you.
thank you.
No, I don't want anyone to stay longer than they have to. I'm assuming so. Okay, we're waiting for a motion and a second to go
I
into
make a
executive
motion to
session.
go into the executive session.
Second.
No, wait a minute, no, hold on.
Hold on.
We have to do it by the state law. I move to find the premature general public knowledge of, what are we doing with this? Loan applications would clearly place the town at substantial disadvantage. By the way, Jesus has got to go, by the way. Who's Jesus?
Do you know who that is, Jessica?
Jesus?
There you go.
There you go.
But I can kick
I
him
want
out.
Jesus. We all want Jesus in our life, but not
All
tonight.
right. Do you have a second on that first motion?
Yes, all right, all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, second part of this, I move to enter executive session under T1 VSA 313A3 to discuss revolving loan applications. All
And
right?
and to include,
And to include the town manager and the economic development director. Gretchen.
Do we have a second?
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Vince seconded.
It's like having your mom on the phone.
All right.
I'm done together.
All right. Okay. Do you want to use numbers on these or do we want to use
the name,
names?
just
You
the
wanna
name,
use Names?
just the business name.
Okay, give it the business, but both business names. Would you give it to me?
Valley Craft Ales LLC
Yeah, correct.
and Tales on Trails LLC.
That's pretty unique. Tales on Trails. So let's do Tales on Trails first. Somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion for Tales on Trails, $30,000 as indicated by the presentation.
All right, subject to the necessary permits being obtained.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. We have a second. Motion second to enter an agreement to apply to issue a revolving loan to Tales on Trails in the amount of $30,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we have 3-1. And Charlie's not here, okay? All right, now the second one is Vermont Craft Ales.
I make a
LLC.
motion, we approve the application from
Okay,
Vermont Craft Ales for $30,000.
all right, all right, we have a second. Motion and a second to approve the VCA back Vermont Craft Ales LLC in the amount of $30,000 with the same stipulations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
I make a
See,
motion we adjourn.
you got a new one right there.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. All right, we can have a motion to adjourn if you like. If no one else has anything else they have to add, okay, Thanksgiving, obviously, is going to occur, but before the next time that we meet. It's this end of this year is coming quick.
Is anybody going to the Wilmington Ladies Dinner thing?
Haven't thought about it. I have gone to that, it's been maybe 5 years since I've gone.
Are we out?
Yeah, we're out. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's in a different location. It used to be always at the